It is 6 o'clock. I will now call to order the May 20th, 2019 meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission. The meeting is being recorded. Are there any public concerns, non-agenda items? Do you have a compliance update with you, Mark?
No.
No. What's the...
So I had emailed a request for an extension of an order of conditions for Loven Excavating and Construction on O'Neill Street.
And this is that request?
And that's that request.
Okay.
And I had also copied we completed the application, or the extension form.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we are receiving this.
Formal request. I sent it by email
Great.
last week.
Okay. So we do have, I think we can talk about this further
Yes.
when we get to 8E.
Right.
But thank you
It wasn't on
for,
the agenda, so I wanted to make sure.
no, thank you for providing this in paper.
Okay.
As well as email.
All right.
Is there any, are you staying?
I can if you like. It's totally up to you. I didn't know if you had any other questions. I also emailed
Were there
you an
ring events
update.
on any of the? Yeah, so
I update-
it's been forwarded, that's on.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Actually, I got copies of what I sent relative to the request to update the
Okay.
sequence of work and work to be done and timeframes. So I can
Okay.
give copies of that
Thank you.
to everyone.
We'll share it.
Yeah. Okay. For the record, I guess.
Thank you. You want to share it then, or you can? I have one. You can share. Okay. Thanks, Mark.
All ready?
Yep.
So if you'd like me to say I can, or if you have any other questions,
It's up to you. I don't know that there's anything
pressing.
pressing.
Yeah, right.
Concerning.
Status quo, and, he's
Okay.
trying to build the project
Yeah.
with funds out of his pocket before he goes to the bank, so it's
Gotcha.
taking longer than anticipated, but he's geared up to complete it, so there's a kind of outline in that.
Perfect. We'll take a look at that.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Mark. All right. Are there any other non-agenda items? Oh, can you, yeah, sure, pass that back up. Thank you. So, first item on the agenda under public hearings and meetings is a public meeting. Request for determination of applicability filed by the Waters Fine Coffee and Goods. Applicant is seeking a determination of applicability relative to the construction of 2 patio areas within the 100-foot buffer zone of the bank of Nashwaana Pond at 20 Cottage Street, map 54, lot 89. Is this your filing?
Yes, it is.
Please join, oh, thanks, Mark.
Forgot, that came in with the other document, in
Very good, thank you.
case you don't have it by email.
Got it, thank you. Welcome.
Hello.
If you would be so kind as to introduce yourself for the record and then just tell the commission about your project.
Certainly. My name is Pat Foster. I own the Waters Fine Goods and Coffee, a business located at 20 Cottage Street, which is located just down the street.
Right over there.
Right over there. What I'm looking to do is, there are actually 2 areas. That site, my business is at the end of the building. So between the building and the beginning of the promenade, there is an empty area. And that area is...
I don't know if you want to.
Thank you very much. I didn't know everybody had this to see. So this is the area we're talking about. So what I'm proposing is that the area between the end of the building and the beginning of the promenade is divided.
Is this the division?
Yes, that's the division. There is a map in here. Let's see. There's several maps. This map details the existing conditions with an overlay of the earlier proposal, city proposal. And then this map shows what I'm proposing. So there is approximately from the end of the building to the property line is 12 feet, 8 inches. There is a post in the ground that seems to just line up exactly with that black fence. So what I'm proposing is a pea-stone patio that be built right up along the edge of the building and to the sidewalk area, no larger than 12 by 24 feet.
Okay.
There is, the map shows the high water mark that has been flagged along the pond edge, along with the top of the bank and the edge of the asphalt area. As this, the area continues around the side of the building and to the back of the building. In the back of the building is Area 2, which is an odd shape. It's just because of the way the building is. And in that area, what I would like to do is build a temporary deck that can be built in pieces, assembled together. It would sit on the asphalt and then be able to be taken apart at the end of the summer. So,
And stored.
and I can take it away, I can store it, I can lean it up against the building.
So, with the two areas you're showing, is there any ground disturbance?
Well, this area, the area along the side of the building, near the sidewalk, right now that area is dirt, soil. I think it's where he parked, it was a parking space, pretty much. And that's all that's there is dirt, and as you can see in the photo. Then as you continue around to the side, there is asphalt that begins, and the asphalt continues all the way around the back. It's a common pathway that goes around the back to use it, although it's not public.
Well, the property is multiple numbers, right? You're 20, you're on the end?
Exactly.
Okay.
So as far as ground disturbance, would the pea stone just go on top of what's already existing? Is that right?
Well, no, in order to put in a pea-stone patio, what they do is they dig down in the dirt about 4 inches. They put just a layer of material. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's a layer of material. And then they put the pea stone on top. They make sure it's level. They'll put 4x4 timbers along the two sides, these two sides, and make it level. And that's about it for the pea stone patio.
I apologize if you've already written this. How do you anticipate, so that's going to be obviously a small piece of equipment because it's a small area. They wouldn't do that by hand, would they? Taking the level down 4 inches?
I don't know.
Don't know. And do you know, I mean, it doesn't really seem feasible that they would access from Cottage Street. They'd have to come around the back of the building, would they? Or would they access?
Oh, it's directly, this is the street right here. So, I mean, there's direct access from the street. This is the sidewalk, and this is the street, and they can come right here. They have direct access to it. They don't have to go around the back of the building at all.
So, I really don't have many concerns. I guess what I would want to discuss would be some erosion controlled area if we're digging down, disturbing the ground surface. And that would be like a straw wattle. It's not really a steep area. It's a limited footprint of disturbance. And do you have a contractor in mind?
I'm working with two different people right now. I'm trying to finalize the proposal and the estimate.
So I guess my only concern would be a temporary stockpile. And any potential that would have, I'm less concerned about this running off than I am about a temporary stockpile. You know, they're gonna have that 4 inches over 12 by 24 feet. that'll be a pile of dirt until they remove it from the site.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So the
So
concern
it's
would
where
be.
they put the dirt and then while they're building.
Right, and if they're going to excavate and live load into a dump truck, then
That's better.
that's great. I don't know what that takes to park a dump truck on Cottage Street.
Not so
It's
easy.
Not really the best.
Oh,
Safest.
right.
So I would just say, it would either have to be live loaded, the live loading into a dump truck, or that erosion control barriers are installed and around the limits of work, including any potential soil stockpile that's not to remain on site for more than, the goal would be to get it off site as soon as possible.
I think they would just do this all in one.
Probably.
Because it's a small job,
It's true.
So, so the point is not to have that dirt sitting outside of the zone of the building,
Right,
of the area,
yep.
on the
So,
ground. So you just want it moved.
correct. So we just want to make sure that gets moved off site with the erosion control barriers. I mean, this is pretty minimal and I don't have any real concerns. Does anyone have anything they'd like to comment on? And
You wouldn't plow this or clear it at all in the winter, would you? Okay. Do we think that the 4x4 timbers are sufficient to hold the pea stone in and not have it start migrating? Okay.
how will the 4x4s be anchored into the ground, do you think?
I believe so.
So, and it's just, it's not like someone's driving on it.
Right, yeah.
Thankfully, so. Okay, and the other area I have zero concerns about. So.
If it's pressure treated wood and sawdust, I'm concerned about that.
It's pressure treated wood, yeah, and in pieces, and he might want to put small concrete pillar just for it to sit on, so it's, and then we'll secure it really to this existing step, and then, so it doesn't have to be secured to the building, and then we can take it apart in pieces. We just want to stick it up. And also a railing.
But again, that's over existing asphalt.
It's all existing
Mostly,
asphalt.
yeah, and this is unvegetated soil.
Right,
So.
right. So you said something about erosion control area, do I have to do something?
So the way we would write this up is that it would be a condition that it's installed before work begins, and that's a straw wattle, and that's something I would imagine a contractor would, if they have knowledge that that's a requirement, that they could plan for.
So is that, even if they're just gonna dig it and immediately remove it, they
Mhm.
still have to have this there
While the work is happening, yeah.
while the work's happening?
Yeah. And I would think a straw wattle would be sufficient.
Okay.
And then we typically require minimum 48-hour pre-construction notification to the commission, so a call to the Conservation Commission to come out and inspect the erosion control. And I guess just the caveat that if there's a stockpile on site, it's protected by erosion control barriers until it's removed. And that's an if.
Well,
Anyone?
Did you want to say ideally removed within a certain number of hours?
5 business days? Right. Anything else? Would anyone care to make a negative determination, motion for determination, -3 with conditions as discussed? Working in buffer zones that will not alter an area subject to protection?
Motion to issue a negative determination What'd you say, 2, 3? 3 with the conditions as discussed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
So moved. We'll have your paperwork for you by our next meeting. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The hard part's over. All right, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda, continuation of the public hearing for an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Beacon Solar LLC, Mass. DEP file number 151300. Applicant is seeking confirmation of various wetland boundaries at 50 Florence Road, map 115, lots 2 and 5, continued from January 13th, 2019. Good evening. Please reintroduce yourself for the record.
Hi, I'm Maria Furstenberg from TRC representative.
So, there was. All right. Apologies for missing the previous meeting. So, it sounds like, does someone want to give me their recap version, that there was another area or two found? And are those reflected on the May 6th maps?
Yes.
Okay, can you show me those? Thank you. I'll let you find them.
So W33
Okay.
is new. And there are isolated areas, W30, 31, and 32. 30 is over on sheet 15, and the others are around sheet 5.
So 30, 31, and 32 are isolated, and 33 is a BVW?
Yes.
To stream 9?
Yes.
Okay.
All the other changes that we made were adjustments to existing wetlands.
All back and forth with GZA?
Yes.
Okay.
We had a very long day in the field. I'm sure you did, but we got it done.
Thankfully, okay. So Julie, were you gonna say something?
I think, was the other substantial change we discussed to wetland 8?
Yes.
Am I remembering that correctly? And that was just an expansion?
That's on sheets 22 and 23, and that was an expansion. We added flags 51.1 through 52.6. There are a couple of other expansions that I can.
I think those were the 2 that we discussed last time, just as
There
The
were-
new one
There were a
and the-
handful to the wetland one.
So essentially, GZA is satisfied with the boundaries
Mhm.
as they are now presented. These are isolated wetland volume calculations, because there was some discussion that one area.
Right, W3 qualifies as isolated land subject to flooding and registered too small.
Okay. So, is there, and you said you thought that GZA's letter report summarized the wetland series and flag numbers within the
So
subject
I
parcels?
actually pulled it up again. I believe that Dan provided a hard copy for everyone at the last meeting.
Does anyone have that? Jay,
I have it from May 6th.
is that the date of the report?
So essentially what he did is that's the original preliminary report,
Mhm.
and the table in the back, he updated responses in blue with what we ended up doing.
Okay, so, and these flag numbers are inclusive? So,
I can give you more specifics if there's more that you need.
just trying to think of how to, does the commission have any further discussion or concerns at this time?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of how to proceed. in the most complete and easy way possible for the person writing this. Someone else wants to volunteer? No? Thought so. Thanks.
Teachers, they volunteer.
I could volunteer someone. Okay, so this, okay, so this is wetlands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9.
Yeah,
There are two nines?
Well, there are some that appear on different sheets, so in some instances.
So pages 21, 2, 28, 29,
Right.
flags 1 through 12, pages 2, 3, 8, and 14, 13 through, flags 13 through 15. Okay. 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 19, 20. So, and then we have, I feel like there are more than on this list.
The only things that are not in that list are the new wetlands that we flagged that are shown on the plans.
What should be so happy? As to reiterate the flag, the wetland 30 through 33 flag series.
Right. 30 is flags 1 through 5. 31 is also flags 1 through 5. 32 is flags 1 through 4. And 33 is flags 1 through 48.
48.
It's a very long scheme.
That's the one, okay. All right, and there are also numerous streams. So essentially,
We didn't make any stream adjustments.
I'm just saying
But
there are
what we
numerous.
did change is we took the data that we had for the
Mhm.
width at each flag
Mhm.
and we added actual bank lines
okay,
that GZA reviewed. They reviewed the widths in the field,
okay.
so that we could do that all in one shot.
So there was reference to perennial streams.
Yes.
So could you-
S10 is the perennial stream that you asked me.
Okay, about stream stats. Yes.
No,
No?
it's a named perennial stream. The name I am
Bassett?
linking. Yes, it's Bassett Brook. So that's the only perennial. I did provide stream stats
Okay.
for
That's-
the intermittent streams on site.
And they're
all
still intermittent?
way too small. to
Okay.
qualify for
So all the watersheds are less than half square mile?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not even a question of duration flow?
Right.
It's just less than half square mile? Okay. So perennial stream S10, would you be so kind as to tell me the flag numbers? And those delineate bank or mean high water or both?
It's coincident.
Okay, so bank and mean high water.
And we didn't change any of those.
So I'm just trying to get as much information now as I can to have the document of final approved boundaries as complete as possible, so that that can be included in any future application, rather than referencing back to a set of drawings that may or not be included with this date on them, so.
So we start at 1. And where do we?
Right, 1 through.
Yeah. It looks like we end on flag 15. First.
Can you show me that page? So it comes in on that, or may I say-
Right, so it goes off property and comes back on. So-
Okay.
So it's actually, the last flag would be on page 8.
All right. So are there, at this point, is it fair to say there are no longer any, are there areas of estimated 100-foot buffer zone or 200-foot riverfront area? Or is that because they go off-site and it's?
It's because the stream is off-site, so
Okay.
we couldn't flag it.
Got it.
And here, it's well within the 100-foot buffer zone. The estimated wetland over here, there's actually a fence that we couldn't get through.
Is that because of this property
I think
in
so.
the middle? Potentially, okay. There's a fence you couldn't get through.
But the wetland clearly goes here, and we made the lines
Mhm.
based on, what we saw in the field,
Okay,
where Dan thought they should be.
got it. Okay, so with that,
But it's also inside the rest of the wetland complex, so we can't
right,
really
you can't really get
right?
there anyway. Got it. Any further discussion? Questions, comments, concerns? Any comments from the public? Questions, comments, concerns? Being none, is there a motion to issue an order of resource area delineation for resource area boundaries as shown on the May 6, 2019 delineated resources map set prepared by TRC and as further elaborated in our meeting minutes this evening?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay. We will have your paperwork ready for you within 21 days. Would your preference be to have it mailed or picked up?
Mailed is great.
To whom should the original be posted?
Do you have a preference?
The original needs to be recorded.
Here, needs to be recorded here.
Hampshire County, yep.
Can I get back to you on that?
Sure.
Just to confirm whether we wish to send that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, that correspondence should be directed to conservation@easthampton.ma.gov or the city planner.
Okay.
Okay?
And the city planner, or?
And would be great.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got it.
that would be fantastic.
Two to both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent. So
Are there any more flag numbers that you want?
I'll let you know. But I think I've got the bulk of it.
Okay.
Jay, I'm stealing your copy.
That's fine.
Thank you.
$6.
Put it on my tab. All right, moving on. Request for certificates of compliance. Request for a complete certificate, Riverside Industries, Mass. DEP file number 151290, Cottage Street Bridge replacement across Broad Brook, expiration 3/27/2021. This has been continued from March 11th. I know there was some back and forth.
Other permits that we can get.
I mean, the photos were, the satellite photos were not really that conclusive compared to what it was before to what it is now. It seemed like there was more grass before than the gravel that they left after the completion of this project.
Char agreed to put some shrubs in,
Yes.
so I think that's a
They don't always ask.
significant improvement over just seeding the
Yeah,
area.
because it's not, nothing's going to grow in the material, I think, that they had there as far as grass.
Right, so putting something more substantial in with maybe an amendment in the whole would be helpful. Okay, so I have no concerns about this site. Does anyone have anything they want to add? Would anyone care to make a motion to issue a complete certification for DEP file number 151290?
Motion to approve the CFC for Riverside Industries.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. This paperwork I do have. Oh, no, don't actually do have
This is nicer.
I think that's nice.
Mine's full.
Signing over here for the best.
That's what this has come to.
Michael's is
Wow.
prettiest.
I would. Yeah, he does.
No laser pointer?
It's a spaceman.
Does it write up in?
Maybe yours for you.
Have you tested that? But
I do.
don't you get right in the rain? I mean, deadlines are tough, yeah. Oh my
Can you do it
gosh.
under the sink, actually?
Where's my name?
Fancy.
Alright.
What are we talking about? That's a space bump by now.
Yeah, can I show you?
Yeah, I know.
Undeserving targeted diversion and jokes.
It doesn't feel that different than regular.
Yeah.
You didn't need to try that?
What's that?
I'm surprised you didn't need to try that.
I've written my
So we need to make sure that
I've been to space.
It's a good luck if you write it, you get good luck.
Oh,
Oh.
we're all in space right now. Nice.
Do you need a copy of the water's fine for the file, or do you have it?
we have several.
Do you
We
want-
have two. No, I don't, unless you really want to keep it. I don't have a file yet. I'm just writing Jeff a note.
It's a nice watch, Jay.
It's a space watch.
It's not a space aerospace.
Aerospace.
It's different. Not supposed to go
It's the difference between space and aerospace.
Well, it doesn't go outside the atmosphere.
I said it'd be neat to try it. There was an iPhone app that was like a mechanical watch that just, you know, it had all the gears with physics programmed to it, ran off the, you know. Anyways,
You should work on that.
yeah.
In all your free time.
Maybe
Got it.
maybe not tonight.
Moving on. All right. So the next three items, request for complete certificates filed by Eversource for DEP file numbers 151147, 151199, 151290, 209, all pertain to monitoring, assessment, and remediation of the former Easthampton manufactured gas plant site off of Liberty Street. This was filed by Ty and Bond, so I feel that anyone who's currently employed by Ty and Bond should acknowledge their potential conflict of interest and recuse themselves. Recognizing, of course, that there are other potential conflicts of interest, but if we all invoke, or we'd either have to invoke the rule of necessity to move forward or acknowledge that this is remediation and probably no one that you guys deal with. So with that said, I would like to recuse myself and step out of the room.
Recuse myself, step out of the room.
And if you could
Recuse
Not
myself.
not knowing anything about this project.
Before you all leave, when is this from? Does this predate?
No, there
Because I don't
was,
recognize
Which one's
this
the file
property.
numbers?
The 19 Liberty Street.
Very old.
Okay.
Very
That's why
old.
we don't recognize it.
there's a
Yes.
request, it was sent in from Jeff Bagg today that requests a site visit and to continue
That's
this
what
to
Julie
June
referenced.
10th.
Yeah.
So they just want to end the project, close it, get the certificate.
Well, yes, but this precedes anyone in this room,
Yeah.
even the ones who are leaving the room.
Right. Have they been working on it continuously, or
No, I
this is
think they're
just?
trying to clean up an old thing, so.
Where is it? Is it like up on the
I don't know
Riverside
where Liberty
property?
Street is.
That's
Maybe
where-
finding they can.
It's
By the 7-Eleven,
Like the backside of Riverside, where
Backside
the
of
greenhouse.
Riverside.
Oh, it's
Yes.
by where the pond is with all the ducks and
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
If you looked off
Yep.
Liberty, you see the geese down there in
Okay.
the upper end of Lower Mill Pond.
Okay. So we need to schedule a site visit.
Yeah, so they're requesting a site visit and continue the public hearing to June 10th. So we can do that. I guess it's up to us to pick a site visit time before June 10th, so we should look at that.
So this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, FYI.
Right. Well, I think we need to have someone from Eversource there, so I think we just throw out a date and see if they
Right.
can manage it.
I think we should skip to the next Saturday potentially, or the 9th,
All right?
just because this weekend is probably
Sure.
gonna be complicated.
I agree. So,
The 8th is better
it's a
for me.
Saturday. Okay, it's a Saturday. You want to pick 9 o'clock on the 8th?
Sure.
I think that's cultural chaos, but I don't think
Oh,
that'll
it is,
affect
you're
traffic.
right. It doesn't start until noon.
Yeah.
And do we have any sense of where we can park and meet?
You probably park at Cottage.
We could park where the, see, I don't know where these exact site locations
Right.
are, but we could park where the new bridge is.
Yeah.
Riverside's not
Okay.
probably doing anything on Saturday.
Or you can reach out to them. Or you just have to let Jeff, we just have to let Jeff know.
I think I'll just
Let Jeff
email
know.
Jeff and tell him that we picked this date and see if they can work it out with the Eversource people. So I will do that once we decide that this is the
Thank you.
thing.
Should we try to dig out old files for the site visit or just let them hopefully?
I was just gonna say, can we ask Jeff to inquire of them whether
Sure.
they have the old files?
So we're shooting for June 8th.
9 a.m.
I don't know if we even have.
You don't want to do it this Sunday?
Well, it's a holiday weekend, so, and, you know, if we pick it, I'm sure we'll not connect with Eversource people.
And if they're not there, we won't do us any good, because none of us know what's going on.
Yeah, what?
19.
Is this it right here? Liberty Street.
Yes, so there's the geese on the lower mill pond upper end.
Where does Liberty actually run?
Between Adams and Union. Is that what you mean?
Oh, that's Liberty Street?
Yeah, you're right
Okay.
by the 7-Eleven down the
Okay,
hill.
gotcha, yep.
And then we should do a motion to continue to June 10th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So
What
moved.
Teamwork.
All right,
Finally.
tie-in bond, folks, you can come back.
Get the adults back in the room quickly.
Oh, sorry, yours. Oh, I forgot. Thank you.
Turn the page. Okay. Thank you all.
No one took notes. For the,
I was gonna
for the
say,
record.
no one wrote anything for the record. Could someone keep make a record?
For the record, we will be having a site visit on June 8th at 9 a.m.
I will contact
Jane will
Jeff,
contact Jack.
Can you contact Jeff to contact?
Eversource,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
to pass that on, and then see if Jeff can pull whatever files that are on this, which I'm not sure what we have.
At what AM?
9 a.m.
What happens, Melissa, we recuse ourselves and all of a sudden site visits slip back from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
6 a.m.
It's light at 5.
It was going to be on Sunday, but
Yeah.
Oh, I would get better at it.
Okay. Say when, Jess.
so we'll need 4
Oh.
people for a site visit.
No, you just need 4 people for the quorum, the same 4 people.
But the meeting's not continued to the site visit.
We continue
No.
to the 10th,
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
which was a request.
Form at the site
Jeff
visit.
forwarded.
Okay. All right. There are no emergency, I'm sorry, Jess.
It's okay with me, but it might not be okay with Deanna.
This could get I can fix the spelling later if you want.
How do you spell recuse though?
It's not really, it's not a word recognizes,
Oh, okay.
but it is a real word. I know. Yes. Okay, now. Yeah, we're good. We're good. There are no emergency certifications. Moving on to enforcement actions. I'm not aware of any updates regarding anything related to Bernard Gall. I'm not aware of any updates regarding Autumn Properties LLC, rear 161 to 165 Northampton Street. Cernak, Westview Terrace, map 165, lot 47. Kelly, please come up. Thank you. So I do have to ask you to bear with us.
Certainly. I'm Kelly Cahill. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm invasive.
Honeysuckle.
Oh, honeysuckle? I didn't know
Oh, is that
was autumn
honeysuckle?
olive.
Why
Is
are
that
they
not
flowering? I don't know if honeysuckle, but
I saw that
maybe
too.
it
I was
was,
wondering
no, it
what
might
it
not be.
was.
It might be autumn olive. Yeah, I just saw the flowers and thought it might be. I love that you tied the bag.
Pick it up.
Yes.
It looks autumn olive to me.
Yeah,
the
the
leaves.
silvery bottom. Yeah.
Honeysuckle isn't.
Honeysuckle, that is an invasive,
just
right?
Autumn
Yes.
olive,
It
yes.
was
But
longer.
it's not on the
Flowers,
list,
like-
and I'm amazed at how many of my neighbors have it as a shrub, an ornamental shrub.
Yeah,
Why
right.
not here?
Yeah, right?
Can I see?
That Japanese barberry is a big
Yes.
shrub.
Drunk burning bush.
Yes.
There's a lot, yeah, this is because it's like a silvery leaf. There's a lot on the bike path just across from you guys. So.
Which is why it's everywhere.
Yeah, but I didn't want to cut down large shrubs if
Yeah,
it wasn't the right thing.
No, that's, okay, so you want to know what you need to do next, right?
Well,
Or what do
yes.
you want? what do
According
you-
to the, there's a different word. Up until now, we've had solid deadlines.
Yeah.
And now section 10 is
Right.
talking about the
Growing seasons.
2 growing seasons.
Right.
So I did reference the Department DPA
Mhm.
replication guidelines from March 2002. And it talks about the growing season to
Mhm.
here till October 12th.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to know, it says one monitor report, I think I read somewhere. If not.
So the recipient shall cause the environmental consultant to monitor the replacement restoration area for a period of at least 2 consecutive growing seasons, beginning on the first full growing season after construction, so that's this year,
Mhm.
of the replacement area, per the methodology described in Inland Wetland Replication Guidelines, DEP March 2002. The environmental consultant shall submit a report document including representative photographs of any replacement restoration areas and any proposed mitigation measures for obtaining ongoing compliance as necessary. So that to me means, so if this were me, I would assume that there'd be 1 report per year to document the conditions.
And that's what I wanted to
Yep.
confirm, because this talks about after 1 growing season, at the end of each first 2 growing seasons to monitoring reports. So I just wanted to confirm
Yep.
that, would that be October? Would
I would
that
say-
be- what would the preference?
So the end of the growing season is October, mid-October. So if we were to say mid-November,
For the report deadline.
so I would say our first November meeting,
Okay.
actually, just so it's on the meeting date as opposed to right before Thanksgiving. So, and that's, okay.
And also just to check, this mentions like 75% of the surface.
That's for wetland replacement areas.
Okay.
So I would say at least 75% of, less than 25% mortality of anything you planted
Okay.
is
Yeah.
probably a good benchmark. That the inland wetland replacement guidelines for restoring a vegetated wetland,
Okay.
and they're looking for no bare spots basically,
Okay.
or minimal bare spots. So
This
what
is where
this?
we seeded, I just wanted to show you, so this was Sunday, so there is, the seed is
Mhm.
sprouting. And this is the, sorry, I didn't print these for you, but to show you where the water was, so a lot of the,
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can see that, a lot of the green leaves coming back. So,
Yeah.
and we pulled invasive, so a lot of the Japanese barberry and bittersweet right now is what we
Mhm.
find out in that area.
Are you finding
And-
garlic mustard?
I
I haven't seen any in the restoration
Okay.
area, but definitely in a roadway in. And purple loosestrife too.
So the garlic mustard, you might want to pull, it's in flower now.
Before it seeds.
So before it goes to seed, because that might further encroach, and it comes up really easily.
And this is, this was where there was a stream and it was all ruts.
Right.
And this was at the far end of the turn, so it's, anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick little review of
Thank
that.
you for that. So unless there's anything you want to report back on between now and then,
Okay.
I don't think you have any.
Any questions I can just email, like I heard you say. to-
Conservation and copying the city planner.
Okay.
Both would be good, just in case someone can answer one or the other. Awesome.
All right, great.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
your patience. Thank you. Okay. So, next item on the agenda, St. Brigid Cemetery, Our Lady of the Valley, Parish, Everett Street, map 145, lot 37. So they were at our last meeting?
2 meetings ago.
No, they were not.
They were not at they were not at the May 6th meeting?
No.
It was the previous one, right?
2 meetings ago.
Okay.
We had a document from them that we received very late in the
You
game.
received May 6th, which includes the action plan. Okay.
And they're looking for a response on that.
Okay.
Approval to move forward. But we didn't
So-
have a lot of information at the
Yeah,
last
we didn't
meeting,
really-
so we didn't take action.
So there's reference to a shed that doesn't show on the, unless that's the shed, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we said it wasn't clear.
Okay. All right, so, that detail aside, in the action plans, so, did you review the 6 points of the action plan, and are you in agreement with, in general agreement with these?
I think was one of the questions of concern, they were talking about putting soil near the shed, and we weren't sure if that was in or out of the,
Yes.
depending on which side they were
Right.
looking at.
Okay,
It's like-
so basically, someone needs to email the location of shed. And then should we schedule a site visit?
Could you?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already said June 8th at 9 a.m.? Do you want to say
We want to do 8:30?
June 8th at 8:30?
So
Or,
you think this will be quick? We've been there
the other one
before.
is,
Okay, that
Yeah.
was just on the street.
Yeah, but where did we park this time?
Should we park in the cemetery?
We parked
I
along the
think you
side
can
of
just
the
park on
road.
the
well,
street.
we
Yeah, we parked along the
parked in
street
the
before.
Mr.
Yeah, his,
the neighbor's property, he had a pretty large driveway. So, we're saying June 8th. At 8:30?
okay.
Okay. So, and notify of site visit on June 8th at 8:30 a.m. June 8th is a Sunday?
Saturday.
Oh, it's a Saturday. I was gonna say, I have to- Okay, great. So I'll work with Jeff Bag to correspond with these folks about clarification of the location of the shed and the site visit. Any other discussion there? Being none?
Nope.
Open space updates. Does anyone know of any updates about Echodale West Orchard area improvements? Jeff Bag said he was going to try to dig into the details.
Did not see any emails that came
No,
through.
there haven't, that I've been aware of either. So Jeff did say that he will be looking into the details of that,
Okay.
trying to get that on track. Lathrop Community of Easthampton, Florence Road Conservation Land Discussion. I think we're just waiting on the planning board to get a handle on their expectations of open space set aside requirements relative to subdivision ordinance. So there's no further update there. Compliance updates. Ready, set, go. Go. Pleasant Street Mills, DEP file number 151273. No updates, and no updates regarding the slope failure. Lathrop Community, 100 Bassett Brook Drive, DEP file number 151283. No updates.
Did everybody else talk about the slope failure last week of the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Williston Northampton School off Taft Ave, cross-country running trail improvements. Anyone who runs been out there?
I was there recently.
Okay. Anything stable?
Yeah, they're doing weird, like, piling of brush around the edge of the trail, but whatever. It's fine. It's not causing erosion. It's just weird.
Okay.
You run? Just notices weird things.
City of Easthampton, Nashwanik Pond, DEP file number 151288, aquatic vegetation management via herbicide algicides. Thank you. This commission received, or the commission, Jeff Bag received an email from Gary Golis regarding chemical treatment to control nuisance vegetation for Nashwanik Pond to the Easthampton Conservation Commission. Dear Easthampton, you don't have to type all this. Unless you really want to, because it's,
Okay, I won't take it on.
okay. So, to meet the requirements of the order of conditions and beyond, the following will be implemented. So these are basically the pre-construction requirements required in the order of conditions. This is a 5-year order for long-term treatment of aquatic vegetation in Nashwanik Pond. They expect a mid-July treatment, but Gary Golis is implementing the program and understands that the commission, fire and police departments, mayor, city planner, and Nashwanik Pond steering committee will be notified of the dates of treatment via email. They have to get their application or their permit to apply herbicides to waters of the Commonwealth from DEP. They have to measure dissolved oxygen levels between 3 and 7 days prior to treatment and submit that information to the commission for its approval. And he has indicated that the location of dissolved oxygen measurements will be the same 4 areas as predetermined from past applications. They'll post signage around the pond for water use restrictions as well as DEP file number signs. They will, if the commission desires, they will conduct a pre-treatment meeting with the commission. They will be using the chemicals Reward and Captain, which are the trade names, which will be applied by a licensed contractor. Solitude, per approved application rates, approximately 8 acres will be treated with Reward and 6 acres with Captain. These are the same chemicals used in prior applications. They will provide pre- and post photographs for documentation. In the unlikely event of a fish kill, they will immediately contact all pertinent personnel, including but not limited to DEP, Concom, and Department of Fish and Game. And then Gary has provided his contact information as well as the mapping. So the red hatch is areas of no treatment. This map indicates species and location. And this map, green is good on this map.
Blue is bad?
Blue is highest concentration of aquatic vegetation that's going to be treated. Yellow is 50 to 75%, green is 0 to 25%, and that is kind of consistent with the areas that were dredged.
What's the date of that?
This one's August 2018.
Okay.
So these maps are all updated August 2018.
So are they submitting a new plan for the next 5 years?
No, they're notifying us of treatment this year.
Oh, okay, I thought you said something about a plan for.
They have a 5-year order.
This would be year
It's good until 2021.
3.
Yeah. It's right. As Julie said, it's valid through.
Although it's only through April, so is this year 4 then?
They took 1 year off, and I can't remember if they did 1 or 2 years. Or
I
not.
think just one. 1 year on, 1 year off this year.
Right.
19, 20. They won't have another summer, but.
And it's within their discretion to request an extension and within the commission's discretion to review or not. Grant or not. So any questions can be directed to Gary Golis. Okay, Loven Properties Inc. off O'Neill Street, DP file number 151287. No construction occurring. Overall project site is stable. They have constructed both wetland replacement areas. These are not terribly good prints.
Like my print.
Maybe Mark can. So that's a little bit on the city's printer. So the commission is also in receipt of a request for extension of order of conditions on behalf of our client, Loven Excavating and Construction, and in compliance with the Easthampton Order of Condition. Recorded in the Hampshire County Registry of Deeds in Book 12352, page 327, General Condition 5. We are requesting an extension of 2 years to complete the work at O'Neill Street, parcel 114-13.1. As Mr. Reeve explained before he left this evening, Mr. Loven this is his own personal project, and he's doing it on a schedule dictated by availability of time and funds. So, does the commission want to discuss granting an extension, or do we want to put this on the agenda for our next meeting and discuss it further at that time?
There's been no real activity there, nothing's really
Right.
changed, so.
I think my concern is that they are, they've constructed the wetland replacement areas, the list of, this list of completed work, that's fine, and work requiring completion. Status. Like statutes?
Project statutes?
No. So, see, you edited it too. We haven't gotten any annual wetland replacement area reports.
Okay.
So, I can go on the Registry of Deeds website and check the recorded order, but I am 99.9% sure it would have been required for a minimum of 2 years in compliance with DEP's inland wetland replication guidelines. So, what I don't see for these completed work dates is any indication of when they were constructed. But I will remind Mr. Loven and Mr. Reeve that that's a requirement, an annual requirement, and not a end of 2 years requirement or a never requirement. So, and this project will also require as-built because of the stormwater components. So, I guess, want more time to think or discuss, or do we want to?
What's the exposed soil on the picture on the last page? It's like a trench, unvegetated.
It may have been wattles had broken down.
Okay,
There
this is the
was,
inside of the
yeah.
wattle.
I'm not exactly sure because the photo's not that clear.
Big mole.
Or that.
What's our discretion for extensions in terms of how many and how long?
We have the MACC handbook in there.
I see it right there.
You see it right
I
there?
see it right there.
I do too.
I could, you know.
Pointing is helpful too.
Something
Yonder?
over here. What's the word? Not teleporting.
Is there,
Yeah. I think it's just the inside.
it looks like erosion control might have been pulled out.
207, 228. 207, 228. Somebody help me remember those numbers.
207, 228.
Thank you.
27 to
A giant mole.
Okay, in the case of extensions, the wetlands regulations at 310 CMR 10058 prescribe 5 instances in which a request for an extension can be denied. Where no work has been done except for unavoidable delay, where new information indicates the order is inadequate, where incomplete work is causing damage, where the work has been done in violation of the order or the regulations, where resource area delineation has lapsed and is no longer accurate. Well, that's not helpful.
228.
Okay, an order of conditions may be extended by a commission one or more times for periods of up to 3 years each. Okay, they've clearly made the request at least 30 days before the order was set to expire. There's no legal timeframe for the commission's response to an extension request.
It's in there, yes.
So one or more times.
One or more time for periods of up to 3 years each. So there's no actual,
There's no
like,
limit.
There's no limit. If the commission, in its discretion.
Do you want to extend it for 2 years?
I mean, they made a reasonable request. It's within the timeframe that the commission can act on. You know, if their circumstances change, they can always make another request. It's contagious. So, under the circumstances, I have no problem, and I would like to give them an opportunity to provide the wetland
Before we
monitoring reports.
do
No.
that before we do it, or just?
No, I don't want, I think they've been fairly consistent with the SWIFT inspection reports, so I'm comfortable giving benefit of the doubt
And he came tonight.
right, so.
So I move to grant an extension for 2
until
years.
July.
Is that in 2021?
Did they request 2 years or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
When am I gonna learn y'all's last names?
Hmm?
When am I gonna learn y'all's last names?
I think I got the easy last time.
Oh, the other thing you can do is just change who made the motion and who, based on, like, who's on Ryan. confuse that.
Because they're just shorter.
Yeah. Not that I would do such a thing. Yeah. Maybe Michael are the worst. Buttrick is bad.
Manteger's better. Can I borrow your pen?
Oh, yeah.
Don't know where to sign.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I spelled my name wrong too. 'Cause I don't know anything.
I did, or you did?
I did.
Can someone start playing Rocket? Please do.
What?
Nothing. No.
Oh.
It's only by the connection. Thank you. I'm gonna go out, hang out. Sorry. 151287. Bunch of firecrackers tonight. All right. Ready?
Go for it.
I'm sorry. All right, Riverside Industries, Dawn. Sorry, a little excited about that. James LeGrand, 19 River Street, 151291. It's probably underwater.
He's probably still waiting for those little water conditions.
City of Easthampton, Whitebrook, and Broadbrook, DEP file number 151268, maintenance dredging, no updates. Holistic Industries, 155 Northampton Street, DEP file number 151296, parking lot and site improvements and city stormwater permit. I haven't heard any updates other than apparently the demolition that occurred was because floor joists were unsuitable, rotten. Apparently that means you have to demo the whole building footprint.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't part of the initial plan.
No, that doesn't seem to
I
have
was
been.
like, oh, they're
They
fixing
took
the
it
roof.
also,
Oh, the
they
building.
took the front part. But my recollection, my very vague recollection is that the 100-foot buffer zone may not encompass that portion of the site.
Seems potentially viable.
So,
The erosion protections in place. and things like
exactly.
that, So
So I'm not terribly concerned, I'm just a little disappointed that the scope changed somewhat dramatically and boards weren't updated. One Industrial Loss LLC, 1 Ferry Street, Tract 1, DEP file number 151298, and Tract 2, DEP file number 151299, Ferry Street Mill Redevelopment Project. No real updates, though the commission may expect to see in time for the next meeting's agenda, the deadline for which is this Friday, the 24th, a notice of intent for the roadway improvements
okay.
on the city's, filed on the city's behalf.
Within the property? Or
No,
coming
adjacent,
into it?
so it's like
Oh.
Ferry Street and Pleasant Street improvements.
You mean the dam improvements?
Whether or not they get a chapter 253 permit is not within this commission's purview.
Yeah.
So, but yes, they're all dam improvements. But that may be on our next
Time
agenda.
involved.
No,
Not that I know of.
no,
I'm
this
not.
is certain traffic engineers firm,
McCann?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Easthampton Park Solar 1 LLC, 232 Park Street, DEP file number 151293, large-scale solar project. They have not started, they may start in July.
They started.
They did geotechnical borings. If you think there's a reason that the city should do a site visit, then please speak up, because there's nothing we can see from the road. We do have an open order, we do have rights to inspect at this location. Any volunteers?
I'll volunteer.
You're the best. Jay will do a site visit before our next meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Did we know they were doing geotech? I just don't remember.
What is
That's what Jeff
geotech?
said. Like a drill rig goes in and they do auger down to do geotechnical borings to determine subsurface conditions.
Or they drive in a sampler with a hammer, a 150-pound hydraulically operated hammer, makes a lot of noise.
A geoprobe.
What's that?
Geoprobe?
Geoprobes are like hydraulic
They're
push
teeny tiny, yeah.
things. Yeah.
Drill rigs are loud and noisy.
Not that I know what I'm talking about.
Sounded good.
Okay, River Valley Co-op, 228 Northampton Street, DEP file number 151301 for site redevelopment for new supermarket and related site work. I don't have any updates, does anyone else?
They had some sort of fundraiser event on Sunday.
They were collecting the money to do the work.
There's porta potties on the site right now.
That was because of the event.
They're dangerously close to wetland.
Contributing to hydrology?
Perhaps.
Okay, City of Easthampton, DEP file number 151302 for pump house demolition activities adjacent to Lower Mill Pond. Map 136, lots 97, 8, and 99. The order of conditions was finalized and signed and hand-delivered to the city on, that's a typo, May 13th May 13th of this year, so it's valid through May 13th, 2022.
Oh.
Did we sign that?
We did.
You all did.
At the
I
next
did not.
meeting, we
And I did. So a quorum does not need to be present to sign paperwork that the commission as a whole has, or a quorum has already approved. It's a ministerial act.
Where did the other marijuana place go? The one.
That was an RDA, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
why it's not on here.
I thought it was on here for a while. Never mind.
I don't remember the name of that place.
No, something cute like green.
Oh, the
something.
one back at,
The end of Wamilka Way.
yeah.
I thought I had that.
Okay. Meeting minutes, this is the typo.
May 6th.
It should be May 6th. Does the commission want to wait for,
We had everybody here that was here at May 6th.
it would have to be Julie
Yeah,
Hewson, Michael
everybody's
Whittemore,
here.
Jay Ryan, and Deanna Medway.
Today.
Motion to
Rare.
approve the meeting minutes of
Thank you.
May 6th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So
Aye.
moved.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Oops.
Okay.
With notice.
Abstain, no.
I gave no notice that I was abstaining. Please make sure that that's.
Make sure that's documented.
I have no further correspondence. Agent updates is that the city is currently without an agent. No further
I do.
explanation. You have an update.
Well, you were
Are
part of this. So
gonna be
back
there?
on May 1st, Jeff emailed me and asked me to contact a property owner at 241 Hendrick Street about removing a couple trees.
Yes.
They sent a, it was, I guess it's his aunt who owns the property. I
Yes.
sent an email back to Mr. McCutcheon. I didn't hear anything back until May 8th, and his aunt Donna called, and I was out of town, so I called her back today when I got back into town, and we're gonna talk Wednesday and go out and look at it.
Thank you.
But I think it's in the, it's not within the 100 foot, it's probably within the 200 foot, but
So just for reference, the, tree removal within the first 100 feet should file a notice of intent.
Right.
100 to 200, subject to the commission's discretion, where those trees are relative to limits of a maintained lawn, et cetera.
we had Mr. McCutcheon sketch, but I'll make sure that the numbers are good.
In that same vein, actually, I think it's 18 West Street, so the other end of West Street. There's a house that has a sale pending sign or just sold, that is in the river, I think the entire parcel is in the riverfront area of the Manhan. Similar request about identifying trees to be removed. There's no further details at this
Okay.
time. I think the person who bought it is a contractor who's intending to renovate the property. Okay. that we have there. Next item is actually already on the agenda. So this is the receipt of request for certificates of compliance
Okay.
filed by Eversource for coal tar remediation and wetland replication relative to the former Easthampton manufactured gas plant site. Who knew we even had one?
Where's that?
Off of Liberty Street,
That's the one we're
right
going
across
to
from
site visit.
the back way into, on the west side of Lower Mill Pond, primarily north of Liberty Street, I think. But across from the back, kind of the back way into Riverside Industries.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there used to be a manufactured gas plant there.
Yeah.
Wait, how is this related to?
It's the same thing.
Same thing. It's the
So
same
they
thing as
wanna-
those three items.
It's
The
just,
reason it
it
needs to
didn't get
be-
deleted.
It's next street.
Because now it's up top.
twice?
Who prepared this
Okay.
agenda? Clearly not you.
Nope, me. I was rushing.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved.